The road is still here. That's the first thing I notice. No cracks I don't recognize. No new bends, just the same stretch of asphalt, continuing as if nothing happened. There are no cars, no wind in the grass either. Even the insects seem undecided. I walk anyway, because the body remembers movement, long after the reasons disappear. Somewhere beyond the hill, something stopped working or finished, or simply left. No alarms, no smoke, no final sound. Just absence behaving normally. A supermarket stands open, lights still humming, shelves untouched, milk turning quietly toward another state of being. I take notes like this matters, like someone will read it later, like later still exists as a category. Outside, the clouds move slowly, careful not to disturb anything. The horizon looks unchanged, which feels suspicious. I keep expecting a sign, a pattern, a direction. But the landscape refuses to explain itself. It only repeats field after field, window after window, silence stacked neatly on silence. Sometimes I imagine this is temporary, that people are only hiding, waiting for the right temperature to return to their shapes. Other times it feels final, like the world has been simplified down to what it never needed us for. A bird lands on a traffic sign, looks around, leaves again. No announcement, no ceremony. I sit on the curb and write down the color of the sky, not because it's special, but because it's still happening. My breath makes sound, my footsteps leave marks, the sun continues to touch surfaces that seems important. I don't know what caused this collapse, departure, correction, some long arithmetic the world finally finished. I only know what remains. Distance, light, my own weight moving through space, the feeling of being slightly late for something that no longer requires arrival. Sometimes I talk out loud just to test if language still works. It does, it just has fewer places to land. I wonder if this is the future, a memory playing a trick on scale, or the inside of someone's exhausted mind. It behaves like all three. I keep walking, not toward anything, just forward enough to keep the map alive. If this is the end, it's surprisingly patient. If this is the beginning, it's taking its time. Either way, the landscape keeps receiving me, without asking who I am. That feels like permission. I keep walking. There are marks now. That's new. Not dramatic, not broken. Just small interruptions in the surface of things. A chair pulled slightly away from a table, a door that doesn't quite close anymore, footprints that hesitate before committing to direction. I follow them longer than necessary, like they might remember something I've misplaced. A jacket hangs on a fence, still holding the shape of shoulders, still convinced someone is about to return to it. The wind keeps testing the sleeves as if practicing touch. I try to picture the person who left it there. Height, weight, voice. The image doesn't settle. It keeps changing like a bad signal. Sometimes the landscape feels staged, like a set waiting for actors who missed their call time. Other times it feels like an afterimage, something the eyes refuse to let go of even after the source has vanished. I find a notebook inside a car, blank pages except for one line written in a careful hand. Remember to water the plants. There are no plants. There hasn't been for a while. I carry the sentence with me anyway, like a small instruction manual for a world that may or may not still exist. The air smells faintly of metal and dust, or maybe that's just memory pretending to be weather. I can't tell anymore where the outside stops and the inside begins. Some days I'm convinced this happened everywhere, a quiet correction, a slow deletion, a global forgetting of certain frequencies. Other days it feels localized, personal, like a room inside the mind that stayed dark too long and convinced the rest of the building to follow. I touch the hood of an abandoned car, the metal is still warm, that shouldn't be possible. Unless time is folding strangely, unless I arrived late to my own life. There are human fingerprints on a window, dust arranged by curiosity. I place my hand over them. They don't align. That feels important. I start remembering things I'm not sure belong to me, a kitchen light left on, the sound of someone clearing their throat in another room, the weight of a child asleep on a shoulder. None of it arrives with proof, only texture. The horizon keeps behaving like distance, the ground keeps accepting weight, gravity hasn't changed its mind. So maybe the world is fine, and something else shifted. Or maybe the world changed so gently that the nervous system didn't notice until the echo arrived. I keep walking, collecting small evidences that refuse to agree with each other. The jacket, the sentence, the warm metal, the borrowed memories. It's starting to feel less empty and more unresolved, like a question that learned how to wait.
I hear something today. Not sound exactly, more like intention. Like the room is thinking about making noise and hasn't decided yet. A window moves slightly in its frame. The air shifts weight. Dust rearranges itself as if something passed through without permission. I stop walking, not because I'm afraid, because stopping feels like listening. For a moment, I'm certain I'm not alone. Not in the way people mean, not bodies, not voices. Something closer to presence than company. I say a word out loud, just one, to see if the space reacts. It doesn't. But it doesn't feel empty either. I start noticing how memory behaves lately. It doesn't arrive like pictures anymore. It arrives like temperature, like pressure in the chest, like a hand resting on the idea of a shoulder. I can't tell if I'm remembering someone or rehearsing them. There's a bench near the road where the wood has darkened from years of bodies sitting still together. The grain holds the shape of waiting. I sit there longer than necessary, as if the bench might continue a conversation I forgot how to start. Sometimes I think the event, whatever it was, didn't remove anything, it just made everything quieter. So the small things became impossible to ignore. Breathe, heartbeat, the sound of fabric moving against itself. Other times it feels like grief without an object, like the nervous system mourning a shape it can't name. I notice my own reflection in a window, not clearly, layered with sky and cloud and dust. It looks like someone I might have known. I raise my hand, the reflection hesitates, then follows. That delay feels important. I keep walking, but now I'm walking with the sense that something is walking alongside the idea of me. Not guiding, not following, just occupying the same stretch of silence. If this is loneliness, it's a complicated version. If this is memory, it's learning how to breathe again. If this is the world coming back online, it's doing it gently so no one gets startled. I don't name it. I let it stay unsolved. Some things only survive if you don't force them into clarity. Something changes today. Not outside, inside the way outside arrives. The air feels closer to the skin, like the room leaned in a little. I notice my shadow before I notice myself. Stretches where the light shouldn't reach yet. Arrives early, like it knows something I don't. I stop and it stops, I move and it follows, but not exactly. There's a delay that feels like thought. I start speaking again, not to hear my voice, to see if the space pushes back. It does. Not with sound, with alignment. A branch shifts at the same moment I inhale. A loose sign clicks when I swallow. The timing feels rehearsed. I can't tell if I'm influencing the room or the room is learning how to influence me. Memory begins acting differently. Less archive, more current. Instead of images, it arrives as posture, as muscle tension, as the way the hands remember how to hold something that isn't there anymore. I catch myself reaching for a weight that used to belong to another body. The gesture complete itself anyway. It feels dangerous, not in a violent way, in a dissolving way. If the world keeps responding like this, where exactly do I stop? I touch a wall, cold concrete, solid, reliable. But the sensation travels deeper than it should, like it's confirming something inside me instead of the surface. I start wondering if the event wasn't disappearance, but redistribution. People didn't vanish, they diffused, spread thin into light, pressure, timing, habit, into the way wind chooses corners, into the patience of dust, into the memory stored inside materials. Maybe I'm walking inside a nervous system that no longer belongs to one body. Maybe I'm part of it now. That thought doesn't frighten me, it steadies me. For the first time since the quiet began, I don't feel like a visitor. I feel integrated. Not absorbed, not erased, just threaded into the larger pattern of waiting. If this is what remains of us, it's strangely gentle. No monuments, no warnings, no explanation. Just responsiveness, just contact, just the slow education of attention. I keep walking, but now the landscape walks differently around me. Like we're learning how to share the same outline.
The ocean appears again today. Not gradually, not politely. It's just there, breathing in large sentences. The surface looks calm from a distance, but closer in, everything is moving at once. I walk along the shoreline until the smell changes. Salt, metal, something older than language. That's when I see it. A body, too large to be mistaken for anything else, too still to belong to time. A whale lies half in the water, half in the sand. The tide keeps testing its weight, like it's unsure what category this belongs to now. Skin cracked by air, eyes closed, or simply finished with seeing. I stand far enough away to remain intact. Up close, the scale rearranges your thinking. Up close, the idea of event becomes physical. This didn't drift here accidentally. This didn't misunderstand the map. Something ended, and the ocean delivered the evidence. I try to remember the last time I felt this small in a useful way. Not diminished, not erased, just corrected by size. A gull lands nearby, looks, leaves, no commentary. The smell stays with me, heavy, sweet, unavoidable. And something inside me reacts before thought arrives. A tightening, a recognition, a quiet agreement between the ribs and the air. Like the body remembers how to respond to consequence. I don't know if this belongs to the world or to whatever happened inside me. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe scale is the message. The ocean keeps moving. The whale keeps not moving. The contrast feels like instruction. Life continues. Something doesn't. Both are true at the same time. I write down the position of the body, the direction of the wind, the color of the water near the mouth. Not because it will save anything, but because attention feels like a form of respect. Standing here, I feel something return that I didn't know was missing. Not hope, not fear, gravity, the sense that actions have weight, that endings occupy space, that disappearance leaves a shape behind. The ocean doesn't explain itself. It never has. But it allows the evidence to remain visible. I stay longer than necessary. Let the scale recalibrate me. Let the silence become proportional again. When I finally turn away, the shoreline keeps its shape. But something in me walks differently. The sky opens wider than usual tonight. Not brighter, deeper. Two galaxies are visible where there used to be one. Not separate, not clean. They've passed through each other, pulled their light into long spirals, stretched time into visible threads. Collision without impact, union without permission. From here it looks slow, patient, like something ancient learning how to overlap. I try to understand the scale, fail immediately. Distance becomes meaningless at that size, cause and effect blur into suggestion. Everything feels both finished and just beginning. I stand very still, let my eyes adjust to a reality that doesn't need my language. Somewhere further down the coastline there's a cabin burning.
Not violently, not dramatically, just steady light against the dark.
The fire moves through wood, the way memory moves through a body, quietly reorganizing what can no longer stay the same.
I don't go closer, I don't step away either.
Some endings deserve distance. Some warmth is meant to be witnessed, not touched. The galaxies keep folding into each other. The cabin keeps releasing its shape.
Large scale, small scale, same law. Transformation without announcement.
I feel something loosen that I've been holding too long without knowing it had a name. Not relief, not sadness, a settling. Like gravity remembering what it's allowed to carry. The world doesn't resolve, it integrates.
Light learns how to share itself. Matter learns how to let go. Time learns how to soften its edges. I stay where I am, between the burning and the infinite, between arrival and disappearance. I am coming home, I am home. This is all, this is all.